Go to one right now. How about Congressman Steny Hoyer, the Democrat from Maryland, who has joined us before on these specials, and always proud to have you with us. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us this evening. And I want to begin by asking you, a lot of your colleagues went through a very tough moment looking in the mirror, deciding whether or not they wanted to be part of tomorrow's proceedings and be here for the oath of office. How did you come to your decision?
Well, I think this is, as John Kennedy said, a celebration of freedom, not so much a celebration of party or, frankly, the celebration of President-elect Trump himself. So in that vein, I have determined that I'm going to attend tomorrow morning. I'll be interested to see what President Trump says. But I think we need to be there. We need to be there, frankly, Scott, because we represent the majority of voters in this election. 3 million more voted for Hillary Clinton and the policies she espoused than the policies that Donald Trump espoused. So that, in effect, although we're the minority in the Congress, we represent the majority of voters who voted in the presidential election. But it's important that we hear what President-elect Trump has to say. The American people expect us all to work on their behalf. They expect us to try to work together to solve the problems that confront them and the challenges of our country. We have a responsibility to do that. On the other hand, we have a great responsibility to represent the views of the majority of Americans who said that they believed that we were moving in the right direction and that they wanted to, for instance, keep the Affordable Care Act, which now more and more Americans are saying they are favorably disposed to keeping, and certainly not repealing until there is a replacement that they can assess as being better or worse than the Affordable Care Act. So from that standpoint, we have a responsibility to be there, attend. But I respect my colleagues who want to make a statement that they believe that the election of Donald Trump, yes, our Electoral College says he won the election. That's our system. We honor it, and we will honor it tomorrow. On the other hand, we do know that we got more votes. We know the Russians have been invading in the election, and Mr. Putin apparently is very happy about the outcome. And we also know that the Comey suggestion there was a problem, and then 10 days later said, no, there is not a problem. Had an impact on this election. My colleagues are concerned about that.
Let me catch you there, Congressman, because you talked about leadership, and you've long been in a leadership position for your party. A lot of these younger members probably look to you for guidance on how to handle these situations, and a lot of what you've just been talking about is some of that's past tense, and some of it's present and future also, but a lot of it's what's happened in the past. They're looking to you for what to do next. Now, how long does this hangover last on Capitol Hill? We've seen these transfers of power where it doesn't always go so smoothly, or where people see a stark contrast between a Democrat and a Republican. What do you do now to make sure we move forward in a progressive manner where there's still productivity and not a bunch of blockades on Capitol Hill?
Well, again, I think we have to assess what the proposals that are made. The Republicans already last week proposed repealing the Affordable Care Act to the extent they could through a process called reconciliation. We voted against that because we don't think that gives the American people or members of Congress the opportunity to assess, discuss, and determine whether or not the proposals being made are valid. We believe the Affordable Care Act is a critical aspect of giving Americans security for their health concerns. So that we need to take each issue on its merits, see what is proposed, and make a determination for what's in the best interest of America, not on a political basis, not on what happened in the past, as you say, whether or not things impacted the election that we think were not appropriate. But notwithstanding that, our duty is to do the best we can for the American people and address each issue honestly, not with respect to partisanship, but with respect to the interests of the people.
Well, and Congressman, it looks like a lot of what's taking place now in some people's eyes is still up for grabs. This fact, you talk about Obamacare, some Republican leaders don't even know exactly how this may play out. So let me ask you this. Are there certain things that you have seen over the past few weeks since Election Day that have given you any more reason to be confident that things are going to work out just fine, that have allowed you to perhaps erase some of your unease or discomfort, or do you still sit at that same level of worry for the next 4 years?
Well, I sit at the same level of worry. However, some things have happened, and Rick Perry is a perfect example of it, where President-elect Obama, President-elect Trump campaigned on the basis of certain things that he was going to do. And as George Will pointed out in his column today in the paper, he's been backing up from that and say, well, I really didn't mean that, or yes, I said that, but perhaps we can't do that. So it gives us some confidence that some of the things that we know he couldn't do, some of the things that we think are very bad policy, like taking children who have grown up in America, don't know anything but being Americans, sent back tomorrow to their home or allegedly where their parents were born. That makes no sense. The fact of the matter is that we think that President-elect Trump, is changing his policies as he goes along. So that gives us some hope, frankly, that the radical and negative things that he proposed during the campaign, perhaps he will not pursue.
All right. Congressman Steny Hoyer of Maryland, we thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you out here tomorrow as well. Have a great evening. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott.
Jonathan.